Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back, I'm not going anywhere. Boost! I'm YouTube famous now. And let's get right into this video today. And I have a little friend with me. It is Pee-Pee the Flying Chihuahua. He loves to be in all of my videos with me. Well, he's always sitting right to my left, which is your right. So anyway, let's get into this video. Okay, while you're watching this, I am currently on vacation in the Dominican Republic. And I wanted to pre-film a few videos for my travel days. I probably am making videos while I'm on vacation. I have no idea. But I wanted to pre-film some videos because I have 4 channels. And when you have 4 channels, it's kind of hard to go on vacation and film 28 videos while you're on vacation because then you'd be in the hotel room the whole time, and that's not fun. So, I try to pre-film my videos for the other 2 channels, and then my vlog channel, of course, I vlog my vacation. And over here, I try to make videos just for the travel days, and then I, make videos while I'm there with my husband or something like that. So we probably will do a Q&A this week as well. But I have been wanting to make this video for a long time. It's interesting because you would think that this would be a video where I would get on here and say, I'm really nervous to make this video. But I'm not nervous about making this video at all. And honestly, before we get into what I'm going to talk about, which is I have social anxiety, let me explain to you a couple of the reasons why I'm not nervous at all to make this video. First of all, social anxiety is something that I live with on a daily basis. I've lived with it since I was a child. I will say that I have been diagnosed by a therapist with social anxiety. But I don't know that that really matters. I mean, I don't know that that diagnosis makes it any better or any worse for me. It just is. I think there's a lot of people that suffer from social anxiety and are never diagnosed and still suffer on a daily basis just as much or 10 times worse than I do. The other thing is, this is my safe place, okay? This is my territory, my house. I'm here with my dogs. Tucker's over there, B. Radley's sleeping downstairs, and Pee-Pee's sitting right next to me, and I'm talking into a camera. And one of the things is that I think a lot of YouTubers actually suffer from social anxiety, and a lot of people don't talk about it. I really do. Because it's easy to sit in camera, and be comfortable and like, hey, how are you, and whatever. But then to go out in public is a different thing, and I think it's very, very hard for a lot of us. Which I think is why when we get comfortable on camera, it just comes across sometimes as natural. But I don't think that it's, unnatural because of not being able to go out in public. I think this is just where we feel comfortable. And honestly, sitting in my house, I don't even think about who's gonna watch the video before I post it. I just post it, and that was something that I had to learn if I was gonna make videos on YouTube. But that being said, the reason that I'm making this video is not just to talk about social anxiety, but also to explain how it has really helped me, or ways that have really helped me get through it. Because, I think to just go, oh, I have social anxiety, like that, that's one thing, right? But I want to help other people out there that are watching this that are going, I so relate to this. Like, I have it too, or I didn't know I had it, but now I realize what that is. Because so many friends of mine through the years, like when I would explain things to them or I would not want to go to something, they would say, oh, you're just shy. And I'm like, no, I'm not shy. And they're like, oh, you're just nervous, Or they would say that, like for me a lot, it's about my weight sometimes. And they'll say, oh, you're just insecure because of your weight. Just go, you'll have a good time, right? And they really don't understand the full grasp of what social anxiety is. So now I can just show them this video and be like, here you go. Now you understand. No, I'm not just shy. It's not just about being shy. In fact, I'm really not shy at all. I'm actually, when I'm in a comfortable setting, very extroverted and a lot of fun to be around. And I have a lot of fun with other people that are around me. It's just getting through that barrier. And I made a video recently on my Peterisms channel, which is where I tell stories of my life and things I've learned throughout my life. And I told a story on there about having social anxiety. I talk a lot about it because it's a major part of my life. And I said in there, it's a lot about getting over this huge brick wall to go to this event, to this birthday party or this wedding reception or baby shower or whatever it is, or sometimes just a dinner out with couples. And it takes so much. Like, I get so nervous. But I've said no to so many things in my life that I'm at a point now where I will take the risk because I don't want to miss out on anything else. But I'm very blessed in that I have a husband who is absolutely amazing and makes me feel safe in every situation. And he'll say, what do you need? And I'll say, I just need to know the details. And he'll go, okay, this is who's going to be there. We can leave whenever you want. This is when it starts, things like that. And I've learned some tricks through the years. I've learned that it helps me to get there 5 minutes before an event starts, so I'm there when everybody else comes in, and not show up late, and then I feel overwhelmed. I always have an exit plan. That's very, very important to me anywhere I go. And the other thing that's important for me to remember is that typically when I get there, okay, then I have such a good time that on the way home, I'm almost kind of upset that I've missed out on so many things in my life. I'm like beating myself up, if that makes sense. And so I have to remember that, so the next time that something comes up, I don't allow it to stop me from enjoying the life that I have been given, Because I don't want to feel stuck like on a record player, like just looping around over and over and over and not ever enjoying all of these things that other people enjoy. I refuse to do that anymore. And so if I have to take some risks and I have to do some things that are scary to me and put one foot in front of the other to have this amazing life that I have a life beyond my wildest dreams, then I'm willing to do that. Before I go any further, I want to explain what social anxiety is as defined by the Social Anxiety Institute. Social anxiety is the fear of being judged and evaluated negatively by other people, leading to feelings of inadequacy, inferiority, self-consciousness, embarrassment, humiliation, and depression. And then it says under here, if a person usually becomes irrationally anxious in social situations, but seems better when they are alone, then social anxiety may be the problem. And that's where it fits in for me as a YouTube person, making videos. It's like, I can be here and I'm completely fine. And people are like, you don't seem like you have social anxiety. I know I don't seem like I have social anxiety, right? Like, I don't think there's any look to what social anxiety is. I think it looks millions of different ways in millions of different people. And I think, it's just this terrifying feeling that you have inside encountering an event. And sometimes for me, it can even just be going to the grocery store or going to the mall or something like that, which is why I really have to force myself. Like, the mall is horrible for me. I do not like it. It makes me very uncomfortable. I don't know who I'm going to run into. I don't know what people are going to say to me, things like that. And, I'm very blessed, and that I have so many, you guys are so wonderful to me out there. You really are. And the majority of the comments that I get, I would say like 95% of the comments that I get on my videos are just overwhelmingly awesome and nice and supportive, right? But there's still that piece of me that's like, I don't know what people think of me. I don't, like, it scares me, And so, let me go underneath here and read the symptoms and the signs to you of what social anxiety is. People with social anxiety usually experience significant emotional distress in the following situations: being introduced to other people, being teased or criticized, being the center of attention, being watched while doing something, meeting people in authority, important people, most social encounters, especially with strangers, going around the room or table in a circle and having to say something, interpersonal relationships, whether friendships or romantic. This list is certainly not a complete list of symptoms. Other feelings have been associated with social anxiety as well, and then it goes in there to explain that. But I want to go through here and explain each one of these and how they affect my life, right? Because some of these are absolutely terrifying. Being introduced to other people. One of the things that I hate in life, okay, is when like a friend of mine will say, oh, I want to introduce you to so-and-so. And I literally, I can just feel myself immediately like start sweating and be like, oh my God. Like, I don't know this person. What are they going to think? Especially if it's somebody that like I've heard a lot of stories about, or I have a preconceived idea of them in my head. And the thing is that I always put people, if I'm here, I always put them up here, And so when I go there and I meet them, it's really, really hard. And one of the things that's so nice is like, my friend Tanya does this to me all the time. She'll say, I want to introduce you to somebody, even though she knows I suffer from social anxiety. She thinks it's good for me. Well, it is good for me, okay? Because the more I do it, the more I have practice, the more comfortable I feel. So then later she'll say to me, something like, I'll meet Judy Smith or whatever, and she'll say, Judy loved you. She thought you were so cool. She thought you were so awesome. And then it makes it easier for me. So my friends have to help me challenge myself a little bit, and I'm so thankful, and if I would say to Tanya, I'm not comfortable meeting her, she would say, that's cool. Don't worry about it, Let me go on to the next symptom because I want to read that as well, and that is being teased or criticized. I think a big reason why I suffer from social anxiety, honest to God, I said in my video that I talked about it on my Peterson's channel, I said, I think that a lot of it comes from growing up as the child of an alcoholic, because you never know what you're walking into, right? You never know what situation you're going to walk into. But I think a majority of it is that I grew up being bullied. And one of the things that is so terrifying about being bullied is you really never know when it's going to come or how it's going to come. You never know. So you're constantly have this feeling of looking over your shoulder because you don't don't know if somebody's going to say something like really nasty to you that day, or if you're going to float through the day at school. And this doesn't just have to be school. This can be family gatherings. Like, I have friends of mine that are so anxious to go to family gatherings because it's just like they have that one, family member that, or sibling or whatever, or mom that will always says critical, negative things to them, and then they feel centered out, right? And so it doesn't have to just be growing up in school, but for me, it was very much growing up in school. And a lot of that carried over into my work environment too, I mean, I've kind of made jokes about this in videos that I've done and rant videos that I've done. I did a workplace rant where I actually, made jokes about it, but that kind of informal like bullying was something that I really suffered from in the workplace, where people like set me up kind of for failure, and they would like get me all hyped up, and then I would go complain about something, and then I was the one that was getting in trouble. And it reminded me so much of school when I was growing up, the center of attention stuff that I just don't want, right? That it's easier for me just to shut my mouth and not say anything, and then, just take the abuse. And I think that's part of what happens to people that are bullied when they grow up, is that they're terrified to go into situations that they don't know because they're not comfortable, right? And that's not okay. But then what happens is we're the ones that end up suffering because we're the ones that get stuck at home, right? We're the ones that don't get to experience life. And I'm not willing to let other people have power over me, and I'm not willing to let other people take away the enjoyment from my life, and neither should you. So let's go into the next symptom. The next symptom is being the center of attention. Okay, so this is really interesting for me. Like, there are times that like I don't have a problem with this, and in my old career, I did a lot of public speaking. I could speak in front of a group of, let's say, 200, 500, 1,000, 5,000 people. Honest to God, I could. I did conventions and all kinds of things like that, right? I had no problem. But when I would get up on stage or in front of a podium, it's like I didn't see anybody. There was like nobody out there. And maybe that's kind of like, to some degree, what this feels like to me. Until I start reading the comments or have the interactions with you guys out there, it doesn't seem personal. Like, while I'm just like in the moment talking to the camera, sometimes it doesn't, Sometimes it does, but other times it doesn't. Typically, the more personal the story I'm telling, the more personal I feel connected to you, especially if there's like somebody that has like shared specifically that, here's something funny. So on my Peterisms channel, I do these Dear Peter videos every Friday where I give advice to somebody. If you notice on those videos, I like stutter a lot. Like, I really struggle with those videos because to some degree it almost feels like I'm talking to that person one-on-one. And I love doing those videos. I'm not going to stop doing them. But those are hard for me. When I'm just sitting here flippantly talking about beauty products or whatever, I'm like so in my moment, enjoying it so much that, I'm not like nervous at all, if that makes sense. And, so that's where I feel a little bit better. But I can speak to a group of 1,000 people and have no problems whatsoever. I mean, honest to God, I'm like no stage fright. I can walk out there. I am completely fine, right? Throw me a private birthday party and I'm a nervous wreck. I cannot stand birthday parties, okay? And my husband, early on in our relationship, he tried to throw me a surprise birthday party. He actually did throw me a surprise birthday party, and it was like literally 10 people, and this is the problem, is when I'm in a situation that I don't feel like I have any control, because this is all about control, okay? Which you have to remember that me being an alcoholic and an addict, I've been sober for 23 and a half years, me being an alcoholic and an addict is about me trying to control things that I don't have any control over, right? So for me to act like control isn't important in my life is absolute BS. It's a huge part of my life, which is why me trying to control my situation and my surroundings is important. But for me to grow, I have to let go of that control. So a lot of times, if I don't feel like I have control, I go to fear, and fear goes to anger for me. And I have to be very, very careful because I can become snippy real quick, And I remember he threw me this birthday party, and I just had to like kind of walk away for a moment and collect myself. And it was literally like 10 of my closest friends. It wasn't anybody that I didn't know, but I was just caught off guard, And he didn't understand it fully then. And then, later he said to me, he said, I won't ever do that again if that doesn't make you comfortable. And I said, I would prefer just to do something you and I on my birthdays. I appreciate it. It meant so much to me. But going forward, can we just do something? And he was like, yeah. He was like, babe, don't even worry about it. I was just trying to make you happy. And I think that's the thing, is a lot of times that people that don't understand us are disappointed in our behavior or our response to things. And it's not that we're trying to let you down, honestly. It's that we don't really know how to communicate to you what it feels like inside. But I hate being the center of attention. I can go to anybody's birthday party, wedding, or whatever and play along as the good friend or the husband or whatever. I'm like very good in that role, but do not put me in the center of attention. Which you would think is so weird as a person that makes YouTube videos, wouldn't you? Like, you would think that I just like craved that attention. And I think to some degree I do. Like, I think I do crave like positive attention or validation. I think we all do. And I think anybody out there that says that they don't like validation is just full of shit. Quite frankly, okay? And they say, oh, I don't care what other people think. Well, I do care what other people think to some degree. I really do, you know? It's important to me. I live my life remaining teachable. I live my life trying to be the best version of myself that I can be. And it is important to me that other people see that. It is important to me that, you know, I mean, ultimately at the end, it's not. But on a daily basis, I do feel that, you know? If people think I'm a shit person, then that's going to affect me overall, you know? And so I think that's where, you know, I do need like positive validation from making videos, but at the same time, like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like I'm the center of attention. It feels like I'm part of a conversation. And I know that that probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but sitting on my side, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the next one is being watched while doing something. Okay, this is so crazy, but y'all know I love to go to the casino. I cannot stand people when they are standing over my back. And I cannot tell you how many times I have turned and said, hey, I hate to be rude, but can you walk away because you're making me really nervous. Like anything that I do, I don't even care if it's like pumping gas at the gas station. I don't like people watching me because I think people are being critical of me. I'm like, people are criticizing me. People are thinking about what I'm doing, like, you know? Meeting people in authority, important people. That's where, like, you know, like I said, I go from here to here, meeting somebody. That's where I go from here to here. And especially if it's kind of like self-involved importance, you know, already in my head, I'm kind of like, I don't like this person. Like, that's how I go to. But then if I look at it, I realize I don't even know this person. Why don't I like them? Oh, because, you know, whatever. They're more important than me. Well, then why am I even here? Why would they want to meet me? I'm nobody to meet. I'm not important, you know? And what's really interesting about this is, one thing that I cannot stand, I mean, it's one of my biggest pet peeves in the entire world, is self-deprecation. I cannot stand when people put themselves down, okay? One of the things I hate with the younger generation is when they say, I'm literal trash. I do not like that, right? Nobody is trash. Nobody is trash, and you should not be talking about yourself that way. So you would think, like, for me, that would be hard. And the thing is that I've worked through a lot of this. I really, really have, you know? Okay. The next one is most social encounters, especially with strangers. Whenever I go to a party, birthday party, wedding reception, baby shower, anything, I have to know what time does it start, what time does it end, when can we leave? Who's going to be there? Are there going to be a lot of people that I don't know? On and on and on. I have to know everything. And then typically when I go, I want to be the first one that gets there. And then I sit somewhere where I literally can see the door and I have a back to, like my back is to a wall. I swear to God, okay? And if you watch me over the course of the evening, it's funny almost now because I become so comfortable. And then all of a sudden I'm the one sitting there telling stories and everybody's around me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm having such a great time, right? But the workup to get me to that point is such a struggle. It is so hard. Like, it really takes me a lot to get there. And then, like I said, I'm upset with myself on the way home sometimes because I'm like, I've missed out on so much, and I'm not willing to do that anymore. Going around the room or table in a circle and having to say something. Okay, when I was in school, I mean, I hate when you go to workplaces and they're like, okay, why don't we go around and we'll each introduce ourselves, blah, blah. Which, you know, I'm in recovery and I go to 12-step meetings consistently, right? But I don't know. That's like safe for me. It's like my people. But I will tell you this. I didn't go to meetings for 4 years. And when I walked back into the rooms of recovery, it was terrifying to me. I would be like, oh, please don't come to me. Please don't come to me. Please don't make it around the room where I have to share. Like, I was always so scared of that and I would just pass. And then one day, you know, I just was like, screw it. Like, you know what? I had heard this like story that somebody had shared and they said, it's hard to fall off the wagon when you're sitting in the middle of it. And I thought, if I'm going to sit in the middle of the wagon, then I'm going to have to reach out and shake some people's hands and introduce myself. I want that. I want friendships in my life. I want to be part of life, you know? I want to be in the middle of the wagon. I want to be in the middle of the hayride on Halloween. I don't want to be missing out, you know what I mean? And say, no, go ahead. I don't need to be part of this. Like, and if I'm going to be there, I got to do some work to get there, you know? Okay. And the last one is interpersonal relationships, whether friendships or romantic. I don't really have that issue, but I will tell you that I do very well. I mean, obviously romantic relationships. I mean, I'm a serial monogamist. But outside of that, like, I don't like to have 10 friendships. Like, I have a couple, 2 or 3 friendships that I'm very, very close with. And like, that's how I need it. And I feel very safe in that, you know? Other than that, like, I'm not always like the most social person in the entire world. Now, if I'm with those people and they bring a friend along, like, I'm a good player, but it's hard for me sometimes. And I think, like, The hardest thing is, I don't know what you think of me. I don't know if you like me or if you don't like me. I don't know what's going through your head. I don't know anything about that, and that's all that control piece to me. So the ways that I've worked through it is I've been in counseling. You know, that's one of the ways that I've done it, is by talking to a professional and working through those significant feelings that are underneath there. And where do they come from? Do they come from bullying? Do they come from me being an alcoholic and an addict? Do they come from me being a child of an alcoholic? Where do they originate? What's the root cause of those issues for me that I feel different than other people do? And then the work for me is believing the opposite, believing I am a good person, believing that I am, you know, teachable and that people do like me, and putting myself into situations that are scary to me and risky to me, but having a safety net around me or under me so that if I fall, I'm going to be just fine. If I need to leave, I can leave. And I have left situations before that I'm not comfortable in, and I'm okay with that today, you know? Like, if I get somewhere and I'm not comfortable, I'm like, I'm out of here, you know what I mean? Like, my mental health and my sobriety especially are more important to me than me making somebody happy at a bridal shower. It just is, you know? And I think that any of us can work through this stuff. And I know there's that one person that says, I'm great out there, that's probably thinking, I'm great, this is working for you, but for me, it's a completely different story. I will never be able to get to that point. Yes, you can. There was a point that my marriage was so majorly affected because I didn't want to participate in anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. And so my husband would be doing everything alone, and people would say, where's Peter? We miss Peter. Where's Peter? Why isn't Peter come? We miss Peter. We love Peter, right? And he got so tired of having to say things to people like, oh, he just doesn't feel well tonight, that one of the things he started doing was he said, I don't care if you go or if you don't go. He was like, but I would love for you to be there as my partner and as my husband because I miss spending time with you. But one thing I will not be doing anymore is giving up excuses for you. I'm not. If you can't go to something, you tell them yourself that you can't go. And that was kind of like hard for me. Like when I would have to call people and I would text them and say, hey, I can't come. Like I've got this going on or whatever. And, you know, now if there's something that we're supposed to go to together, I suit up and I show up and I go. And that was my best friend. She said, you need to be a husband. Okay. You need to suit up, you need to show up, and you need to go to these things with your husband. That counseling on my own and marriage counseling together, where we've worked on a lot of these things, have drastically improved my social anxiety. I was gonna say social media. My social anxiety. I don't have the same fears that I used to have. Honest to God, I don't, you know? It's still hard for me to go do those things, and I think I'll always suffer from that. I think the tape will always run through my head. Who's gonna be there? What are they gonna say? What are they gonna think of me? But today I have tools in my toolbox to get through that, and I am enjoying life today. You know, I'm enjoying life with my husband today. I'm enjoying life with my family and my friends, and that's what ultimately life is all about. And I want that for you guys out there that are suffering from social anxiety. I want you to realize you can get through this too. It's not just that you're shy. It's not just that you're, you know, an introvert. Like we want to hide behind the I and the E, and that's just not it sometimes. There's a lot of us that are so extroverted inside. We're such people, you know, we love to be around people, right? But we're terrified of people at the same time. And I'm one of those people. I love people, but it's so hard for me to get over that wall. Sometimes I just need a little help. I love you guys. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.